As the wind erodes and the water corrodes, altering everything we think we know, but we don't. It's all temporary, and it used to, but now the thought doesn't scare me or keep my feet from following one after another until I slumber. Then my mind, not my feet, wander and dream of people and places I'll never see again. I've mended as much mental anguish as I can, and now I try to use this language to take these thoughts from my head to my pen. Cause though I don't speak of my dead friends or the circumstances, often the blow never softens or yields. I'm in a desolate field, lonesome stargazing, night blazing, chasing traces of remembrance and reverence of relevant friends and acquaintances and faceless and nameless names and faces. And while my mind is racing through these photo albums and quotations, all these people and places far from me, for only land and stars I see when I'm outside of the mile high city, which is not my city. For I was born 1,000 miles northeast of there, in the land of beer and lakes and pistol fire on MLK's birthday, where there is no minorities and segregation's mandatory. But that's a whole nother story altogether, and no matter the weather or hardships that any place brings, I'll still laugh when people shiver and say it's freezing, or say, hey, no, wait, I already had 18 mixed drinks, but I guess it's a Midwest thing, and I'm a mess from a dirty city and brought most of this filth I've gathered with me.
Welcome to another episode of Experience Any Weins Live, and today we're going to talk about the 5 ways to start the best sentences you will ever speak. In a life where often we, as people, myself included, want to project our ideals on the world, this is an opportunity for us to reflect on what we know, we want, we desire, how we feel, and put it out to the world. Coming up after the verse.
My work labors on as lovers sleep in each other's arms, remaining calm and collect. I begin my self-reflection process of redemption. Honestly, I don't know where this road leads, or if I'm even going. Could be rowing upstream, or worse, chasing my dreams to the peak, to finally be somebody doing something with what I have, rather than saying again and again that I can't and I won't anymore from this day forward. Cause Lord knows the past is set in stone and the present is yours to mold and to use for future uses. I know I'm a nuisance, I'm told, except neither young nor giant nor gnome. I don't sleep on these streets usually, though I've made thrones of my own. I don't sit well with idle hands, though don't know what to do when I'm home all alone. I'm a menace thrown from society, and as it lies to me, I'll smile silently as others do as they please. I am watching and listening, and I'm grinning all the while, cause sometimes all you can really do is smile. So as the work labors on, I'll keep on singing my songs, and this day is never done. We just keep on spinning around that sun, and well, through all these miles and trials, all I've learned to do is smile. Is to smile.
Welcome to another week of Experience Any Weins Live, and this week we're going to jump into 5 ways to start the most powerful sentences that you can. First, I'm going to start with gratitude. I am grateful, so therefore I like to share my gratitude with the world. Last week I had the opportunity, every year I do a retreat with my Vistage CEO Roundtable. So it's a group of 14, 15 CEOs. We meet monthly for about 8 hours, one Friday a month. We've been getting together, like I said, 4.5 years. People have come and gone, and every year we do an annual retreat. This year we went to Key West, Florida. Last Wednesday, I got back in town late last night. And between the people on the retreat, 12 of us total, plus some spouses, there's about 20 in our group. And I'm extremely thankful to have a group of growth-minded business leaders here in the Milwaukee area that value me for who I am. They value me for my vulnerability, my perspective on the world. I am great when I'm around them, and I'm grateful for them because they bring out that greatness in me. They accept me for who I am. They challenge me for who I want to be. And they ultimately are a big reason why I am here today. So I'm extremely grateful that I had the opportunity to take off a few days. So I'm grateful for our team to run the business back here in the rear. I'm thankful for the fellow CEOs to embrace me and accept me for who I am. And I'm grateful that I've been in this position in this world where I can run a business and own a business and be part of a group of people like that. And my challenge to you is find your tribe. Earlier today, I said to my group of during our leadership meeting that I'm about 90% right now of people that I spend my time with are in my tribe. 90% of the people I associate with are pushing me to be 10x and live a 10x life versus a 2x life, which is a great book I read recently. 10x is easier than 2x. And you're joining me today. You're part of my 10x people, the people that are pushing me to be the person I want to be. So I'm grateful for all the people in this world that continue to challenge me and push me. Order of Business Podcast Town has an event coming up in October. The link in the description is Friday morning, 9 a.m. I'll be going on stage and doing Andy Weins Live. I'll be interviewing a woman who does whole health wellness, and we're going to be talking for 45 minutes to an hour all about whole health wellness. So she focuses on the body. I'm focused in the body and on the mind. I'm certainly focusing on the mind and the soul. So October 4th, 9 a.m. here in Waukesha, Wisconsin, to come see me doing this show live and then other podcasters throughout the day. So the link is somewhere. Taylor will put it up there if he hasn't already. All right, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. 5 ways to start a sentence. So as we know, I wrote a book, Words Fucking Matter, because they do. And one of the first things I did in the book, I said, okay, let's have a glossary, and let's call it the anti-glossary. And instead of being at the back of the book that we reference, let's put in the front of the book, because once we talk about these words, we're never going to talk about them again. And of the 13 shit words or phrases, one of the sections is I can't, I won't, I don't. And so the inverse of that is I can, I will, I do. Obviously, very simple there. And yet there's so much more that we can do when we start powerful sentences about us. I had this conversation over the weekend during my retreat. We were talking about showing gratitude. We were talking about being thankful and not saying I'm sorry. And also express our emotions. And often what we do is we make it about the other person because we want to give first. And then we bury the lead. We bury our feelings. We bury what's most important to us. And I've realized over time, the more I give of myself, the more I make it about me, I'm being selfless. I'm giving more of me to the world. I think about that, and I think about a book I'm started to read this weekend. I started yesterday, and I'm already almost halfway done with it because it's an amazing book, The 4 Agreements. And I've known about the 4 Agreements. I've seen the 4 Agreements, and I finally took time yesterday on the plane to dig into and start reading the book. And the first agreement of the 4 Agreements is to be impeccable with your word. And it reminds me of Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life. Rule number 10 is to be precise in your speech. And so these two things correlate with what I say, which is words fucking matter. And I thought over the weekend, I put a note in my ongoing notes a few weeks back about how to start sentences so they can be powerful. And so here are the 5 ways to start sentences. I am. I feel. I know. I want. And I will. Last week, I was talking about the Chads of the world. I was talking about the closed-minded, narrow-minded, small-minded, ultimately fixed-minded people that are surrounding us and what they put on us. And as I was reading 4 Agreements, being precise in your speech, what ends up happening in this world is we are born and we are slowly domesticated over time. We're domesticated by our mom and dad, by parents, other parents. We're domesticated by teachers. We're domesticated by priests and pastors that impose all these ideals onto us. And what ends up happening is we get domesticated and we ultimately lose our identity. Because when we're born in this world, we are born pure and creative and all these ideas. And then other people impose these things on us and we accept them about ourselves. And then eventually we start inheriting those things and start saying it about ourselves. And we all start saying, like me, like, I am not good enough, right? Because other people said I wasn't good enough. I believe them. And now the one cut that they gave me, I cut myself 1,000 times over versus saying I am good enough. I have the opportunity to do that. In the book, Four Agreements, they talk about how it's a sin to talk about yourself, to impose things on yourself that you know are not true. These things that do not serve, I talk about in my book, reshape your language in order to live the life. Does this language serve you? Reshape your language so that you find language that serves you. And so I stand in front of you today and say, hold on, I am good enough. Here I am. I wrote a book. I get the opportunity to speak in front of people. I have a podcast. I pay for this building. I pay for the technology. I pay for a guy to sit over there and produce the content. I have people in the audience that reach out to me on a regular basis and thank me for what I provided. So I am good enough to be here in this moment right now. And yet, that wolf of scarcity, that wolf of hate, that wolf of fear creeps up every now and then and says, Andy, right? I say to myself, I'm not good enough. And why do I allow that to happen? And what stops me from swinging? What stops me from attacking that with velocity? And ultimately, it's this domestication imposed on me by the rest of the world and me not feeding that wolf of love. So when you say I am, think about what those next words are going to be. Do those words line up with your why? Do they line up with your unique ability? Do they line up with your goals and dreams and aspirations? And when they do not, look into that. Why is that happening? Why are you talking down yourself? Why are you feeding yourself poison when you have the opportunity to stand up for who you are and speak up? Right? I am, therefore I matter. And so when the chads of the world, the people that are fixed-minded, come at me and tell me what I am not based on their perspective, I can stand up and say, I am enough. I am good enough. I am going to follow through on my dreams and my goals and my aspirations. I declare, therefore, it is true. So I'm not going to allow that poison to come into my life. And most importantly, I'm not going to let that poison come from within me. Next statement, I feel. Very powerful statement. I teach people a very simple methodology when confronting people, when you want to have a logical conversation in an emotionally charged environment. That's typically the challenge there, right? When you have two people, one's emotional and one's logical in a given conversation, you're going to get natural friction and we're going to have some barriers built up. So I feel allows us to acknowledge the feeling, an emotional event, in a logical way. So the sentence here is, I feel this way when you this action. And be as specific as possible. So let's take an example from last week. Last week I talked about Kelly and how she came up to me during the Milwaukee Athletic Club, and she was apologetic. She didn't want to apologize, or she didn't want to interrupt, and yet I was super happy, right? And then I'm taking a picture with her, and we put it up, and we're like, hey, look at us, we're happy and we're having fun, and we're at the MAC, and great things happen here at the MAC, right? And in actuality, right, I felt respected when she came up and introduced herself to me and the person I was with. Right. And as a man, especially, we feel love through respect more than we feel love or through admiration or other things. Right. So in that moment, I felt respected when she came up and approached me. Now, the more specific I am with my emotion, right? I'm not saying, oh, I felt good. Oh, it was nice. Oh, it was fine. No. The more specific I am, the more vulnerable I am, the more I give of myself to the other person. And then the very specific action she took. I could say, hey, I felt good when I saw you the other day. Okay, well, you saw me. Okay, next time I see you waving down the road, I know you're going to feel good. No, I took her place of vulnerability, her place of remorse when she said, sorry to interrupt. And I said, no, I felt respected when you came up to me, because everything else that happened after that, we took time. We had a few jokes. We had a few laughs. I learned something from her. She learned something from me. All those things were wonderful. Started when she chose to take that first action. I walked right past her at the Mac. I went and got coffee with Blake, and we were walking and talking. Didn't even notice her, right? She was in my periphery. And I was focused on the task at hand. And she saw me. Let's go to the OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, act. She observed, oh, there's Andy. She oriented herself. Oh, he's sitting over there. She decided, I'm going to go up and talk to him. And then she acted on it. And with a beautiful moment because of it. She has now contributed to my life. She has created that'll find its way into my newest book. And so I make that very specific. I feel respected, and I felt respected when you came out and approached me. I am teaching and training her exactly how to work with me. And often the inverse of this is you, ... action, right? And this sounds something like, you make me feel this way. And often when we say that, it's probably not very positive. Like, you son of a bitch, you ruined my life. You make me feel less than I am. And yet we can still say these things in a way that takes an emotional situation and puts it in a logical format. Hey, I feel disrespected when you told me to pipe down, when you told me right in that moment not to talk. I feel disrespected when you told me not to wear those clothes. I feel disrespected when you showed up late and didn't acknowledge timing mattered to me. Those are all emotionally charged situations. And now we express it in a logical way. Here's the beautiful thing. That feeling is inarguable. When you tell someone, I feel disrespected, I feel hurt, I feel violated, that's inarguable. That's how you feel. And then you can explain the action they took. And if the other person says, well, that's not what I meant. You know that's not what I meant. Well, of course I wasn't trying to do that. It doesn't matter. That's what you did. Ultimately, those are the facts. I feel this way when you did that. And now you present that to the other person and you give them the opportunity to respond and watch what they do. If they start blaming, using excuses or denial, they didn't hear you. They didn't hear how you felt. They didn't hear how they impacted how you felt. And it goes the other way. There's times I've told people very good things. Hey, I feel loved when you came by and touched my shoulder. Hey, I felt loved when you sent that nice text message. And they'll say something like, nah, no big deal. Of course I did that. Why wouldn't I do that? I'm your girlfriend. I'm your boyfriend. Or that's what people are supposed to do. It's like, well, shit. We had an opportunity to build something there. I told you exactly what I wanted from you. I told you exactly how it made me feel, and you dismissed it. Because you still put your walls up. Because you didn't appreciate the vulnerability that I showed. The third sentence, I know. All too often in this world, people start sentences as, well, I think, or I thought. I say, well, why'd you think that? I tell people all the time here at my work, I don't want to pay you to think. Thinking is not encouraged around here. Knowing is very encouraged. Oh, I thought the employee wanted off tomorrow. Well, why is that? I don't know, because he said he wasn't feeling great. Okay, did you ask him? Well, no. Hi, employee. Do you want to work tomorrow? Oh, yeah, you do? Oh, because you need the money, and money's more important than you, little boo-hoo? Okay, sounds good. All right, yeah. No, I talked to the employee. I know now that he wants to work tomorrow. That seems pretty low stakes. And yet we use that as the excuse. Oh, I think. Oh, I thought this, right? Well, I thought that's what you wanted. Well, did you ask? Well, no. But last time, no. Start with I know. And in order to start a sentence with I know, you need to do a little research. You need to ask some good questions. You need to listen to what the other person said. Right? You say, hey, I want to go out Friday night. And they're like, I want to stay in. Okay. Now, when you go back to them, hey, I ordered some DoorDash. I've never actually ordered DoorDash. I'm not really sure how that works. Press a button, right? Fine. I ordered some pizza. That's more traditional, my older millennial self that I am, right? Hey, I ordered some pizza and I already picked out a movie for us to watch Amazon Prime because I know that you want to stay in and I also want a date night with you. So we're going to date night in place. We good? Yes. Why? Because I asked the question versus, well, I thought you wanted to go out because it's every Friday night. And I figured by Friday night, you'd be over whatever you're dealing with on Wednesday. No, that has not changed. I know is qualifiable. What data point did you use? I talk in my business and my life about data-driven decisions. So in order to start a sentence with I know, you need to do the work. And when you know, you can lead with confidence. You can also say, hey, I know this about myself. I did the reflecting. I did the awareness. I regulated myself. And now I know this about myself. Over this last week when we were down in Key West, every night we went out because we were in Key West and it's retreat and yada, yada, yada. And I am the ultimate Irish goodbye kind of guy, right? When I'm done, I'm done. Right. So the Thursday night, Friday morning, I know we have a Vistage session. We have a CEO roundtable, 7 hours. And I know when I get less than 6 hours of sleep, probably less than 7, we'll call it 7, less than 7 hours of sleep, I know I'm not at my best. Right. So I took my happy ass home, right? 10:30. I'd already danced. I already sang. I already had a good time. Uber showed up. We were at Irish Kevin's in Duval Street in Key West. Irish Kevin's. I pulled Irish goodbye. I get in the Uber. I go home. Right back to the resort. I'm back at the resort before people even know I'm gone, right? Because I know when I stay out late, I'm not my best self, and I want to be my best self next morning. Next sentence, I want. This is something I've only recently learned, like in the last month. I've lived a life of I need for so long. I need. This is what I need, right? Then everything became a need. The challenge with needs are I consistently felt the need to qualify this. Well, I need this because of that. I need this because this is my value. And now the beautiful thing about I want is there's no justification. I can say to myself, I want to be a keynote speaker. I want to have a podcast. I want to have a successful Junkenwold company. I want my daughter to grow up and aspire to be this thing. And there's no justification needed. I can express my wants to the world. And often I did this in the past where I'd say, here are my needs, my wants, my desires. Well, are they needs, are they wants, or are they desires? Which one are they? I talk about this in my book, right? Admire, desire, require. What are your wants? Do you require them? This is a hard boundary. Do you desire them? That would be nice. Or do you admire them? Oh, they have that, and maybe that would also be nice, but I won't fill my tank all that much. I want. And then the beautiful thing is you get to determine your boundaries. You get to tell the world what you want, and you have the opportunity to want whatever you want without justification for the rest of the world. Goes back to what we talked about, the 4 agreements, right? You get to decide. You get to go out in this world full of domesticated individuals and choose your own path because what you want. Finally, the 5th one, I will. This goes completely against I can't, I won't, I don't. No, I will. This is what I will do. This is what I'm willing to commit to. Not I think, or I might, or wouldn't it be nice if? No, I will. You are clearly stating your path. You are letting others know this is where I am going. Last week on Tuesday, I had the opportunity to not do my podcast because it wasn't Monday and the day was running late and I was leaving for Florida the next day. No, I will put out weekly content because it's best for me. That's what I will do. I will be here for the audience. I will respond to people. I will give people my best. And now I've declared it, and therefore nobody can come up in this house and tell me otherwise. This is the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. You have the opportunity to take control of your life with the language you use in your own head. All of these processes can be done right within you. And once you start doing that thing, then you earn the opportunity to tell the fucking world, I am this. I feel this way. I know this with empirical data. I want these things regardless of why. I will do these things to accomplish my goals that I decided for myself. Once you've decided, once you've told the world, then you get to go show the fucking world. I am this. And when people come in and disrespect your boundaries, when people come in and question you, when people project onto you and bring their fixed-minded bullshit, you have an impenetrable wall of who you are, what you will do, what you want, what you know, how you feel. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of I statements. I am grateful you joined me this week. I feel fulfilled every time someone reaches out to me based on something they learned here today. I know I'm making an impact on this world. I want to continue to challenge people and myself as we develop as growth-minded individuals. And I will continue putting content out for you and everybody else that's watching this so we can make the world a better place. Do the fucking thing. Tell the fucking world. Show the fuck up. We'll see you next week.
Through all these miles and trials, all I've learned to do is smile. Is to smile.